Okay, in this video I'm going to show you the basics of Microsoft Excel. You need to know these basics in order to write lab reports and in order to process your data. This is a little bit like a crash course. So I really zoomed in here so that you can see it a little bit better, and I'm going to now show you a little bit something concerning cell formatting, because this occasionally causes problems. First of all, you do notice that I'm using the English version of Excel. However, the computer is now set to the German and Austrian standard. So what does this mean? This is pretty important concerning a number format. If I type 12,5, like for example 12.5 degrees centigrade, and if I press enter, then you're going to notice that the number will move to the right side and it is recognized as a number. It is the English version of Excel, however it is the German version of using decimal places. So that is the first important thing that you have to check in your Excel version at home is, are you using actually the German computer settings or the English computer settings or the American computer settings. So right now I'm using the English version of Excel, but I'm using the German settings, and therefore I have to use a comma in order to indicate a decimal place. So what happens if I use a decimal point now? So I type 12.5, okay, and let's see what happens now. I press enter again, and you will see that it changed the format to a date, the 12th of May, and you see that this is of course the German translation here. So that is essentially the thing. Most likely your computer settings are German. So therefore you have to use the comma system. So now let's try the following. Let's try to change the 12th of May, which when you over here at the top you see now the full date. Let's change it back to 12,5 again. So type 12,5, and we would expect this to be now the same. No, it's the 12th of January. Now how can this be? Okay, and over here you actually see that the date changed again. It's the 12th of January of the year 1900. What does this mean? I think it means essentially 12 days into the year of the year 1900. But you see, that's the problem. I mean, I want to take 5,5, and I've got the 5th of January. I mean, I thought I have to type a comma in order to indicate a decimal place, and now I have a comma, and it will stay a date. And that's the first confusion here. Once you actually used a decimal point to indicate, like this one over here, once you use the decimal point, it will stay a date. Okay, 5,5 again, it will stay a date. So what you have to do is you have to change the date format back to a number format. And how do you do that? First of all, you mark the cells that you would like to change, or you can also mark only an individual cell, but let's change both of them. And then you right click, and now at the very bottom here, I think you just can see it says here format cells. Okay, it says so you click that, and now I have to move this up here a little bit, and you now actually see that it's set to custom. You have to go over here to number tab, it's custom, and it's a day and a month format. That's not correct, so I went over here, it indicates the date, so you have to change it back to general. Okay, and then we click OK, and now you see that it is back to the number system, to the decimal system. Okay, that we were used to. Okay, so that is basically the first important thing. How do you change a format back to a number, a date back to a number? So let's have another look here. Let's move over here and let's say that you've measured a certain temperature, and you override here and you have a heading. It's a temperature. And you already see one problem over here, that actually the title is too long for the cell, so it goes into the next one over here. And now you type in, okay, you measure, let's say 10,5 degrees centigrade. Okay, that's essentially what you would like to type down, and you press enter. And what do you notice? You notice that actually it stays over here on the left side. It does not move over to the right side. And that's a problem, because if it stays over here on the left side, Excel tries to tell you that it does not see a number in what you typed. It sees a text, and therefore, because it sees a text, you cannot do any calculations with these numbers. So, and the reason is because you included the degrees centigrade in here. In case you would like to know where can you find the degree sign, it's right beneath your escape key on the top left of your keyboard. On the top left of your keyboard, there's this little circle of the degree sign. But we do not like that. Okay. So what you have to do is you have to go in here and you have to take it away again, and then you press. Okay, we're here at the top, and delete, and then you press enter again, and now you see it actually moves to the right side again, and now it recognizes it as a number, and that's fine. Okay, so if you would like to, you have to indicate, if you want to get points, you have to indicate the units, but never include them with a number. Always include them over here into the heading. And look what I'm doing right now. Of course, I could type it like this, in degrees centigrade. I could do that, and then you press enter. But you see, it takes a lot of space away here, and I'm already going into the F column. So what I would actually suggest that you do is that you you go in here and you keep the Alt key, which is to the left of your spacebar. You keep it pressed, and then you press Alt Enter, and then you press Let Go, and you press regular Enter. So this looks kind of interesting, does it not? First of all, you see that over here, by pressing Alt Enter, you have forced a second line. That's fine. The degree centigrade now is on the second line, but you see there is not enough space over here for the word temperature. So because it's not wide enough, so what I want you to do is you go up here, you click it, and you increase the width. Okay? So that's basically one thing that you can do or should do. Okay? If you would like to change this around it here at the top, okay, you can also do that. So you click out of it, and now you have your degrees centigrade in the next line. And of course you might want to center this as well, and maybe you also would like to center the number. It just looks nicer. Okay, so again, over here you can change the width, okay, by going up here between the two, on this thin line over here. So let's move on here. Let's now type in, let's say you make a measurement and it's 5.0 degrees centigrade. So you type in 5,0, you press enter, and you notice that essentially it recognizes it as a number. It moves to the right, but the problem is the comma 0 actually is gone now, and it can also not be seen up here. Now this is a problem because there is a difference between 5 and 5,0. Mathematically there might not be a difference, but from a measurement standpoint it actually means, if you type in 5, that the value could be anywhere from 4.5 to 5.4 because it's a rounded value. So what you have to do is you have to tell the spreadsheet Excel to include the comma 0 again, and the easiest way to do that is that you simply click this here and go up here, and let's see what it has. It says here decreased decimal, and over here increased decimal, and I'm adding it back. I can add as many as I want to, but no, you want to make sure that you actually have the number of decimal places that actually are characteristic for your measurement. And of course we would like to maybe move it back into the center here. As a matter of fact, it might make good sense to actually mark the whole column and move everything into the center right away. Okay? And if you're not happy about this empty space now above here, you can of course also change the width, or not the width, the height of the line by doing this here. Okay? So basically, I showed you now several things. I showed you now how to change the values back to a number, and I also showed you how to now include the decimal place, the comma 0, and I also showed you now how to go into the next line over here. So I'm now going to move on a little bit, and I'm going to now explain you how to calculate percentages. Let's say that we want to do the following, or how to do any forms of calculations. Let's say that you would like to calculate an average temperature for these values. So I'm going to erase this here. Okay, and over here, let's say I'm going to make measurement or trial. It's probably trial, and trial 1, 2, 3, and let's say we have 10 trials. So how do I do that? You mark these values over here, and you go over here into the small. See this small corner over here, and you click it and you drag it down. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It will actually add it up for you. I might actually also include, I would like to have this also centered. I would like to have the headings bold. And I'm going to now invent a few numbers here, okay? The next temperature measurement would be, let's say, 6,0. Ooh, same problem, okay? Then the next one would be, let's say, 10,6. I'm just inventing any numbers right now, just because I would like to illustrate how this... And let's say 13,0 again. So if you actually give me something, okay, I might make it a little bit smaller so that you can see the whole thing. Okay, if you give me a table like this, then I'm gonna take points off because the number of decimal places is not the same. So what do? You mark all of these, and no, other one, yeah, you add the decimal places back in again over here. Okay, so that's the thing that you have to do. And now I'm going to show you how to, not to calculate percentages, but let's say I would like to, you want to calculate the average of these values. So you write down average over here. And how do you calculate the average? You have to add up all these numbers and divide them by 10. So you start off by typing an equal sign. I'm using the English version of Excel, so I have to type in average. If you use the German version, and most of you are probably going to use the German version, you have to type in Mittelwert. Mittelwert. So equals average, open the parentheses, and then you now mark all of these values. But of course you do not mark the average cell as well. Okay, you have to stop over here with the last measurement. And it will fill in E4 to E13 for you. It's kind of clear, from E4 to E13. And then you want to close the parentheses and you press enter. And it will now tell you 9,9. If you give me something like this as an answer, I'm going to take points off because the average cannot have more decimal places than your original values. So even if you give me 9.86, even if you give me this here, I'm going to take points off. You cannot have a precision which is larger than your original values. You cannot have an average which is better than your original data. Okay, it doesn't work. So this is gonna result in points being taken off, and you have to round it to the same number of decimal places. So again, for the German version of Excel, you have to type in equals Mittelwert. So, and now the next thing, I might also would like to make this bold a little bit over here. And the next thing that I'm going to explain now is how to calculate a standard deviation. The standard deviation tells you something about the quality of the average. So, as standard deviation. Okay, you probably noticed that over here we do not have the, it's a little bit too wide, equals stdev, if I am correct, and over here I mark against the cells. Now I'm simply marking upwards, it doesn't matter into which direction you mark. Close parenthesis, enter, and yeah, you have a nice number like this. And what do you have to do now? Well, of course, you have to reduce the number. Ooh, what is this? Well, if you see these funny signs over here, then it indicates that the number is too large to be displayed in a cell. Instead of simply cutting it off, it will show you this sign here. If you make it wider, you can see the number again. Okay, so don't panic when you see that. Okay, it's not wide enough. Yeah, why? Because the number is too long anyway, so we have to reduce the number of decimal places. And then we can make it smaller again. Okay, and you would like to make this bold. Okay, now, how do you like this here? No, not very good. Of course, you can make this cell over here wider. But I think that's also maybe not a very nice thing all the time because it's so wide. Yeah? And over here it's now too small. We'll make it also wider. Okay. So what you could do in standard deviation, press Alt, Enter, and then regular Enter. Standard deviation. If you do not like to have the number, the 2.6 here at the bottom of the cell, you can of course move it into the middle by pressing this button over here. Like this. Okay, looks nicer. So, let's make the table look nice a little bit. You mark everything over here. And then I would highly recommend that you add borders, all borders. This looks already nicer. And what I sometimes like to do is, you can give it a nice color. You mark this here. I like gray, or I like dark gray. Now it's too dark, the text is too dark, and I change the text to white. Maybe you'd like to do the same thing over here. Just, I mean, that's cosmetics, okay? It's cosmetics, but sometimes it can actually make a difference in concerning readability. So that's basically the basic introduction into making tables in Excel. In a different video, I'm going to show you how to make graphs, but I'm just remembering something because I'm going to show you a few tricks before I quit this video. I already showed you how to change the width over here, but what happens if you would like to have all of them the same width? Okay, let's say we have, I don't know, temperature here, and we have, I don't know, another temperature. We have several columns over here. What you do is the following: you simply mark all of them here at the top, not like this. Okay, you have to mark you have to go to the to the letters up here. You mark all of them, and then you change the width, and you see that they're all now the same width. Okay, and sometimes you don't. Sometimes you don't know what the smallest possible width is. So you know what you could do? You simply go in here and you double click this. How's that? Double click. And it will actually do that. It shouldn't do that. It should actually adjust it to the correct width. It doesn't do that with a temperature. I wonder why it's not doing that. Okay, let's mark it. You know what I think? The reason why I think it does that is because we have over here wrap text Zellenumbruch. Okay, it's called in German, and I'm not going to do that. Okay, and if you do it, okay, now it kind of included the degrees centigrades again. Okay, okay, now we've got that. You have to take away the Zellenumbruch. Right click, Zellen formatieren, format cells, alignment, Ausrichtung, and the wrap text is the thing that you can take away, and then do that, and it will change it back to the optimum width. Yeah, these are just cosmetics. I think you can. Okay, also make it a little smaller here. So that's basically the thing. And of course, if you would like to change the width, if you want to make all of them, let's say one of them is too small over here. Okay, if one of them is too small, well, what do? You double click between the cells, and it will automatically adjust it to the optimum cell height. At the trial, do you see the trial over here? You might also want to move this into the center. Like this. Looks maybe nicer. Okay, up to you. Again, as long as it's readable and fine, you will not lose points. You will lose points if you do not have the correct number of decimal places. So that's important. Okay, I think I'm gonna stop now. This was the basic crash course into the basics of Excel, and in another video I'm gonna show you how to make graphs and things like that. Okay, all the best.